Hi, I am Susan Bagans, and I am an encourager, a scribe, and the silly mother of three hobbits. And I'm coming to you today with a new diddly squat. My diddly squat is on, I know a diddly squat about self-care. Now, what do I mean by that? Self-care. I know how to brush my teeth. I was taught how to wash my hair and take a shower and put on clean clothes and use deodorant and all those self-care things that we train our children to do. So I got that stuff down. The kind of self-care I'm talking about is those things that, especially as adults, we sometimes set aside because we're too busy working. We're too busy trying to make ends meet and stave the debtors away from the door and take care of ourselves. And I kind of was gotten the message over the years that I was not worth the money or the time to do the things that maybe I needed to do to be healthy physically, emotionally, spiritually. Now, I would take time to journal. And when I was pregnant, I would take time to get a massage every 6 weeks or so because it staved off carpal tunnel, which allowed me to do my work. But then it got to a point where I was told I couldn't do that anymore. And as a result of that, I ended up having more problems with my back and my neck and headaches and back pain and other issues that came up. And I think when I would say no, it wasn't an accepted response to things. So I was told I can't say no to things. I have to do things to make everybody else happy. But what was going to help me be happier and healthier? Now, happiness isn't the goal of our life. Godliness is, becoming more and more like Christ. But God has given us just enough time in a day to do the work that He's called us to do. That's one of the things that Nancy Lee DeMoss talks about in her book, Lies Women Believe. And I often get caught up in the idea that I have to do all the things on my list. And I never can. I mean, it's not possible. And I've had people say, well, Susan, what is it that you can't do? I'm like, well, I'm a horrible housekeeper. I'm kind of a jack of all trades, master of none in a lot of ways. I do so many different jobs, so many different things to make a living, not one thing. I'm primarily a writer and an author, but I do other things to help supplement my income so that I can survive. But what does self-care mean then? I mean, what is it that I do or can do to perhaps feed my soul, to nourish my spirit, to give my body the rest that it needs from all of its labors? Sometimes it's just learning to say no. The last 8 days, I had a second job that I was working many, many hours doing. It's also National Novel Writing Month. And I am behind in my word count because I've had to focus on these other things. And sleep is a priority, so I've tried to make sure I get my sleep. And I know that I will catch up. It's humbling. I'm usually ahead of this game with writing my words for National Novel Writing Month, but not this year. Right now I'm behind, but I can catch up, and I'm not feeling too discouraged about that. I've never had a problem before, so I'm anticipating that now that that job is done, I can focus on the things that I need to do. But I'm recording this on a Sunday, partly because I am off this morning. I will be going to church in a little while, but I was asked earlier this week if I would serve this morning at church, and I said no, because I was going to be working 8 days in a row, and I needed an opportunity to recharge and refresh and rest. And that was freeing. I can't deny that I felt a little guilt about that because I have gotten the message over the years that it's selfish for me to say no. It's selfish for me to try to do something for myself. But it's not. It's actually healthy. One of the things that I've been teaching kids at school, and I've got a cold, so you'll have to excuse me a little bit here. I've been teaching high schoolers about the Old Testament, and it's been fascinating and so much fun. And when we talked about the Old Testament and we talked about the 10 Commandments that Moses gave to the Israelites as they were in the desert after the Exodus, I asked them, I said, what does it mean when God gives these rules? I mean, it's not just do or do not do this. Our faith is more than a bunch of do's and don'ts. There's reasons behind why God has said what he did in those 10 commandments. And when it comes to the commandment to keep the Sabbath, which I'm not always very good at, I will confess, the reason, I asked the class, I said, what's the reason that God gave that commandment? They're like, God took time to rest, so we should. True, God did take time off. He took the 7th day and he rested. Did God need to rest? No. But he created us in his image, and we needed an example to follow. And so he rested, and we are allowed to rest. What does that look like, though? And why? I mean, is it really just that we need the rest? I challenged my kids because I needed this challenge too, to remind myself, no, it's not just about do it. You need to rest. That should go without saying that we need our rest. But there's a reason for it, because I work from home, so I can work every day of the week. I can work morning, night, middle of the day. I can work anytime I want when I'm home. And it's easy for me to come home from church and work because I enjoy my work. I'm an editor, I'm a writer, and I enjoy what I do. But it's work. And the reason God told us that we could take a day off to rest is because he wanted us to trust him for his faithful provision for our needs. And when I work and when I refuse to take time to rest, I'm almost saying to God, you can't do it, God. You need my help. But he doesn't need my help, does he? He's God. He is faithful. He's always been faithful to me. There's a song by Stephen Delopoulos that I like. It's off his Straight Jacket album. And the chorus is, there is work to be done. There is work to be done. We're all just dust to glory. There is work to be done. There's work to be done. Bow your head to the mission story. But God calls us in that mission story to rest. Yes, there's work to be done. There's always going to be work to be done. And I have a list that I keep with all my current projects so I don't forget any of them. And I kind of prioritize then what is it that I need to do so I don't forget. And yet today is a Sunday. And after I go to church, I may take a nap. Maybe I'll go out to lunch with a friend. Maybe I'll make cards. Maybe I'll read a book just because I can, not because I have to. I can rest and know that tomorrow will take care of itself. Scripture says that. There's enough trouble for today. Let tomorrow take care of itself. I don't need to worry about all the tasks that should be done. Even though I worked my second job yesterday, because I've worked 8 days in a row, I still did other work for my editing. I didn't even get any writing done because I was busy trying to get editing work done for other people, for my boss, because I had projects that I had kind of been putting off and I got them done. And it felt really good to get them done. And so today I can say, you know what? I don't need to do that. Maybe I'll do some writing for National Novel Writing Month to catch up, but that is fun for me. And it's not, it's work, but it's also kind of fun. And I will practice my guitar because it's fun. I took lessons so that I could learn and grow, and I'm being challenged beyond what I'm used to, and I've been tempted to quit. But I'll practice my guitar because I'll do the hard stuff, which is the work, but then I'll play, and I'll play for the fun of it, and I'll sing, and I'll worship, and I will enjoy that. There's just things we can't always get away from doing, and we have to take care of ourselves. My kids will still insist on being fed, I'm assuming, at some point. Mom's been gone a lot this week, and so they've had to fend for themselves, so I'm sure they're going to be wanting me to cook. And I will probably have to prepare a meal. And that's okay. Maybe I'll watch a movie. I don't know what I'll do yet today. Take a nap. I don't know. Take a walk. I haven't even checked to see what the weather's going to be like. It's been quite chilly out lately. But my goal and my hope is that I can rest, that I can trust God to fulfill the mission story. Scripture says, be still and know that I am God. Well, why? Is it just be still and know that I am God? It's be still and know that I am God, and He will take His message to the ends of the earth. Wait, you don't need me to do it? I can rest in you, and you are going to work. God never ceases to labor on our behalf. He is always there. He is always functioning. He is always providing. And I have seen that over and over and over again. So today, my challenge to myself, my challenge to you, is to find a place and a time to rest. And maybe it's not always going to be on a Sunday. Maybe it's going to be a Saturday. Maybe it's going to be a Monday. I don't know. Sometimes when I write things in my books, I don't realize that the message I'm writing is really to myself. My last book that came out was called Bratwurst and Bridges. And there's a character in there, Pastor Wink, Pastor Dan Wink. And he is a good-looking guy. But he got caught up in workaholism. And he did go to the gym. He was a gym rat. And that was just something that he did. And that was a self-care thing. But one of the things that Dan didn't realize was that he needed time to refresh himself and play. Because working out at the gym is still work. He needed to find ways that he could laugh and play and have fun. And he didn't know how to do that. And I think that that was definitely a message that I was writing to myself. That I had fallen into this trap of workaholism. And that I needed to learn to find ways to let go of some of that. And to know that it's okay to take care of myself. It's not selfish to say no. It's not selfish to get my hair cut or colored. I've been doing that for myself for years and told I couldn't. For years, I gave up wearing contacts. And just a few months ago, I went back to doing that. And God provided a way for me to do it. And I'm so glad that I did that. Not just because of the vanity of, oh, look, she doesn't have to wear her glasses today. Yay, how nice is that? But when I went in for that exam, which I probably would have bypassed if I wasn't thinking about getting contacts, because I don't usually have to get my glasses upgraded that often. One of the things that the eye doctor discovered is that I have a mild cataract at the back of one of my eyes. And he said, have you had an injury to your eye? You know, some kind of trauma? No, I haven't. He says, you're too young for this kind of a illness to be happening, for this cataract to be forming. Now, granted, cataracts happen as we get older. It's not an uncommon thing, and it can be surgically treated, which is great. But this was a little bit distressing news for me, and I did some reading on it, because I'm like, well, how can I at a younger age be getting a cataract already forming? I mean, I'm grateful that he found it. He says, we need to keep an eye on this. Yeah, right. Good job, doctor, with that one. But one of the things that can cause cataracts, especially in a younger age, if there's not been trauma, is stress. Well, I've lived a very stressful life for a long time without any chance to refresh and recharge and to do the things that I need to do to take care of myself. So the challenge for me now is to say, you know what? I'm worth it. My health is worth it. My mental health is worth it. My spiritual health is worth it for me to do things that recharge my batteries. You know, we can't pour from an empty cup. We can't give into others if we have nothing left in ourselves. And when we do that, we take away from everything else that we do have stored in our health and our well-being. So I guess the challenge to me and to you is that, you know, we do the things that we need to do to be healthy. Obviously, we need to be financially responsible. And I am not the poster child for that, but I am getting there and I'm getting better. And God has been incredibly faithful as I've taken baby steps. It's okay to say no. I sometimes feel guilty when I say no, but I've learned that And I still make excuses like, why am I saying no? You know, I can't do this weekend because I've just worked 8 days in a row and I'm going to need a day off to rest. Why do I even need to justify that to anybody? I can just say, I'm sorry, I can't do it. They don't need to know why, do they? Not really. But I always feel like I need to justify myself. Like it's a bad thing. And my reasons have to be valid enough for other people to be okay with me giving an answer like that. But God doesn't ask us to do that. He just says, take a rest. And I don't have to validate to anybody why I'm taking a rest or why I'm making the choice I'm making, especially if I'm setting a boundary for myself. It's not their business. And yet I still fall into that trap. Like I have to justify anything I do that takes care of myself. And really the only person I need to justify myself to is God. And so if I pray and I say, God, is this what you want me to do? Like taking guitar lessons when I couldn't afford it. And he's been providing all the time. Okay, obviously God can meet my needs. And if I'm leaning on him and I'm trusting him for those decisions and those choices, then that's all I need. He knows my heart. He knows what my body needs. He knows what my mind needs. He knows what my spirit needs. And I can trust him to provide. He is faithful. He is good. So I guess my challenge to you and to myself today is take time for yourself. I know diddly squat about self-care. I am still learning. I am still growing. You know, maybe after I get through this certain season, I'll get a massage again. For a while, it was like maybe once every 2 years I was getting a massage. But my shoulders have been tense. I've been having headaches because of that. I wake up with those. And maybe I need a massage. And I don't have to justify that to anybody. If God provides me with the resources, then I should be able to do that for myself, to take care of myself. Going to the doctor, getting physical therapy, things that I was told that I really shouldn't do because they cost money. And yet God has met my needs. So, can you trust God to meet your needs? Can you trust him? And it's not being lazy to say, I need time off. And you are worth having something done nice for you. And if nobody else is going to do it for you, then you should do it for yourself. There have been times when I buy flowers at the store just so I have a fresh bouquet because nobody else sends me flowers. So I might as well do that. I shouldn't say that. A couple of years ago, I had surgery and somebody brought me this beautiful bouquet of flowers. I loved it. And then it was a year and a half ago or so, almost 2 years ago, I had a cast put on my foot and I had trouble getting around. And somebody brought me tulips. And my screensaver on my phone is a picture of those tulips. Every time I look at that picture, I'm reminded that somebody cared for me. But there are times when I do buy flowers for myself because I can. And they don't have any calories, and they're not a sin, and they bring me joy. So find ways to bring yourself joy. It's okay. It's acceptable. God delights in us, and he delights to see us playing and relaxing and trusting him to meet our needs. We don't have to be working 24/7 to do that ourselves. We need to trust him for that. So that's my encouragement to you, my diddly squat, as I learn, as I grow, as I try to get better at this myself. And I pray and encourage you to do the same so that we can all be better versions of who we are as we head into the future. Blessings to you.